know what you're thinking, that you can buy a house without a real estate agent. I've been doing this for a really long time, and there are definitely risks with that. We've put together a little video to show you what those risks are, and hopefully to show you how important our job is.
You know what really concerns me is these buyers who sometimes don't see the value when we come to help them. They think just because the listing agent is going to open the door for them, that they're going to be looking out for their interests, when in reality, what they're there for is to sell their seller's home at the most they can possibly get.
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, even if it's not in great condition, they want the best price for that house, and it may not be worth that.
Definitely.
They also need to know about inspections, and that there are many of those that you can have, and listing agents may not be all that forthcoming with all of that information.
There's so many questions that we can ask of not just the listing agent, but for them to find out from their seller that a buyer is just not going to think of, especially maybe not until after they've purchased the home and it's too late.
That's right.
Yeah. You know, I really worry about the buyers overpaying for homes these days and going online and using resources that aren't necessarily accurate, and they just don't necessarily know the market.
And we as buyer's agents do know the market. We also know how to pull comparables and appropriate comparables and comparing the house we're showing them to what has sold in the market around them.
Right. Yeah.
And there's also situations where there's maybe a multiple offer and you're not really sure how to approach that, and it's not always about the price. There's a lot of ways to negotiate the final deals of a contract that have nothing to do with the actual final sales price. It's about the other parts that go along with a contract.
Right.
A lot of buyers think that the home that we're selling them is their forever home, and that is so often not the case. Things change in their life. Families grow,
Job
changes, yes, and they need to know how important resale value is, even in what they think is their forever home.
I agree.
Yeah.
I really hate the thoughts of buyers getting into a situation thinking they are going to stay. They choose a home that would be a tough sell, and then we have to have that conversation with them down the road. It would crush me.
Our buyers trust us, so we want to make sure that we are giving them all of the information to make the right decision, so that that time does happen, they are in a house that we can sell.
Right.
So the other thing that a lot of times I find when I'm meeting with buyers, especially for the first time, there's more to buying a home than just the home itself. It's about the neighborhood, the community, what's around them, how they're going to get to things that are important to them in everyday life. And while we might not have the answer to every one of those questions, we certainly have been in this long enough and have a lot of experience helping them in those types of areas that we can point them in the right direction to get the information that they need, that can assist them in deciding if that's the right location and then if that's the right home for them.
Yeah, right. I mean, you wonder if they're being realistic about how long it takes to get to their office from the location that they've chosen.
I mean, I often ask them what time they go to work and explain the traffic patterns in Atlanta, and that they are, 15 minutes can make a big difference.
Absolutely.
As far as traffic goes.
Yes. Afternoon
School activities, and just, getting home from work and getting kids where they need to be. All that's very important.
It is.
I know the allure to new construction is so enticing to buyers, but there are some pitfalls with that also.
And it's one of the easiest ways for someone to think, oh, I don't need an agent, because they walk in the door and there's someone there answering their questions, telling them what's available, telling them all the finest parts about the construction and the location and the types of floor plans. But what they don't really realize is that that person is hired by the builder and is there to represent the builder's best interests, not necessarily theirs. There's a lot of different questions that go into buying a new home. Even when it comes to picking your options, your upgrades, builder's prices, not always the best. Sometimes it's better to just look online and buy them yourself after the fact. Probably the biggest thing that is always something that I try to really emphasize is the lot location. Not every lot is great, and there's a reason why some lot premiums are $0 and some are $30,000. And I want to be the one to help them understand why.
Right, I agree. I hope that you guys found these tips helpful. We would love to help you to find your next home. If you would like to reach out to us, our contact information is below.